Welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to start with some formula-based questions that is related to present value. But before we move on and discuss about the formula and calculations part, let's first understand that what present value means. When we say present value, it means the value of your money today. For example, you are investing in something, let's say you are investing in property, and you say that it's $1 million that you are going to invest today. Let's say after 3 or 4 years, that you think will become $1.5 million. So the value of your money today that you're investing today is $1 million, and the value of the money after 4 years will be $1.5 million. So the value that is today is called present value, and what you will get after 4 years is called future value. R is rate of interest, whereas when we say 4 years, that we represent as n number of years in our formula. So the formula to calculate present value is equal to future value divided by 1 plus r raised to power n, where FV represents the future value, PV represents present value, R is rate of interest, like we said, or rate of return, and N is number of periods, or you can say number of years. So in your examination, you can expect questions from present value. Not a lot of questions, but a couple of questions from present value. And whenever there will be questions from present value concept, they will give you all parameters that you will require to calculate the present value. So we are going to actually see one formula also in example that will clarify this further, that how questions will be asked from this concept. Now let's move on to a very important topic, that is economic model of project selection. So basically we have different parameters that we need to understand how those are used to select or reject the project. Those are: number one, net present value. When we have more than one present value, we calculate net of those, so we call it net present value. If I make it simple for you, I would put it in this way, that the money that you invest that is going out of your pocket is considered negative. So when you are investing something that is negative amount, that is going out from your pocket. And the money that you will get back is considered positive. So what you will invest will be considered negative amount, and what you get back will be considered positive. And at the end, when you will calculate net of those, you get net present value. So when you calculate net of the amount, there are few amounts that are in negative value that you are investing. There are few numbers that are positive, for example, that you are getting back. If you calculate net of those, of course, if the number is high positive value, we would say that we should take that project. So if I give you two projects, one project with net present value of, let's say, positive $45,000, and project B with net present value of positive $85,000, and I ask you which project would you prefer to select, of course you will select the project with net present value of positive $85,000. So the rule that you need to keep in mind from this is that the project with bigger net present value will be selected. I will also brief this, and in the next slide we will actually see that what are these rules. The next parameter that you need to understand is payback period. And when you read it, you understand it. Payback period means that after how much time you will get back your investment. For example, I say you have project A with payback period of 1 year, and you have project B with payback period of 6 months. And I ask you that which project you would prefer to choose. Of course, you will choose the project B, because after 6 months, you will get back your investment. So the rule for this to keep in mind is that the project with less payback period will be selected. The next parameter is internal rate of return. So here we are talking about rate of return. We are talking about ratio. So if I give you again two options and I ask you to choose one project, let's say you have project A with internal rate of return 10% per year, and you have project B with rate of return 25% per year, and I ask you which project you would prefer to choose. Of course, you will choose the project B with internal rate of return 25%, because it is more than project A, that is 10%. So the rule is that the project with more IRR, in examination you can expect IRR instead of internal rate of return. So the project with more or bigger IRR value will be selected. Lastly, we have benefit cost ratio, and benefit cost ratio means that the benefit versus the cost. So how much is the cost and how much will be the benefit? So if I ask you, you have $500 to invest, and I give you two options. At one project A, I say if you invest $500, you will get $1,000 as benefit, and I say you have project B where if you invest $500, you will get $2,000 as benefit. Which one you will choose? And of course, you will choose the project with more benefit cost ratio. So the rule is that the project with more benefit cost ratio or bigger benefit cost ratio will be selected. So if we summarize all this discussion, we can say that rule number one, like we discussed, the project with bigger net present value will be selected. The project with more IRR will be selected, means the project with more internal rate of return will be selected. The project with less payback period will be selected. And lastly, we said the project with more benefit cost ratio will be selected. So in examination, these are the types of questions you will get. Let me show you again in the next slide that what type of questions you can expect from these concepts that we have discussed in this lecture. So first question is that what is present value of $300,000 received 3 years from now? If we expect interest rate to be 10%, should the answer be more or less than 300,000? So now 300,000 is the future value, FV, and 3 years is our number of years that we represent it as N in our formula. 10% is the value of R, rate of return, and we are asked to calculate present value. So present value is future value divided by 1 plus R raised to power N. And if you see, the calculations have also been done, and we get $225,394 as an answer. Next question is, an organization has two projects from which to choose. Project A with internal rate of return 21%, project B with internal rate of return 15%. Which one is better to choose? And of course, you will choose project A because its internal rate of return is more than project B. Next question is, there are two projects from which to choose. Project A with payback period of 6 months and B with payback period 18 months. Which one you will choose? And answer is of course very easy, project A. Let's consolidate our concepts further from this example. So from this table, we need to choose the project. So let's choose those projects based on different criteria. So let's go with the first criteria, net present value. Project A, net present value 95,000, B, net present value 75,000. Which one you will choose? Of course, you will choose project A because it has bigger net present value. And according to our rules, we know that bigger net present value project will be selected. Next is internal rate of return, 13% or 17%. Which one we will choose? Of course, we will choose 17% because more IRR value will be selected. Payback period, you will choose project A or project B. A has 16 months and B 21 months. Of course, we'll choose the one with 16 months. And benefit cost ratio 2.79 or 1.3. 2.79 is bigger benefit cost ratio, so we know that the project with more benefit cost ratio will be selected. So that's how the questions will be asked in your PMP examination. These are very easy concepts to keep in mind, and I will catch you in the next lecture with some more concepts related to integration management.